rotation. So you're going to tip out this way. It's a great assessment for people because, of course, you guys, I know you're smart enough. You're going, what about the foot? Right? You're linking it. I hope, right? So if we did a foot course right now, we'd be doing the same excursion, but we put a little emphasis on the foot complex. So let's do that. I'll face you guys. Ready? Toe touch on the left. Right side's down. Toe touch around to test internal rotation. This should be concomitant with supination. Your foot should come up. If your foot's really flat and it's hunkering down, your toes are grabbing on for dear life, it gives me a good indication of what's going on. Now when you're out on the basketball court, you're out with your kids at the beach and you whip around like that, that's why these things happen. It's called tearing and injury, disruption of unity. So we're able to hone in locally and figure out what's going on with the person. It's very powerful. Now I'll do it in external rotations. You ready? Right side's down, toe touch, open, open, open. Valgusing is normal, as long as it's synergistic with the chain. So if I have a real high arch, I'm not going to do these exercises with you. If it's a structurally rigid foot, I have no business in your training and conditioning program lunging you like this. I guarantee they either compensate really well or eventually going to tear the knee or it's going to start to bark right here. And then everybody blames the meniscus. Everybody blames the medial hamstring group. Everybody blames the groin or they get the sports hernia. You guys, these are victims. You can easily assess this stuff on people. Now, if you put your hands down there and maybe facilitate internal rotation of the tibia to get the foot to collapse a little bit, because even in a rigid foot, it has changeability. The collagen of the human body, the most abundant protein, has changeability. So therefore, any change that you make is really a pseudo change anyway. We got to keep creating proper environments for people. So these are just quick excursions. What I want you to do really quick is do the same thing on your other side. So left side. Go ahead and flex. Come on up, extend. On this one, we're going to do more extension. Okay, so I usually don't start with extension with people because so many people are bumped down. Now, proper extension is a little more complicated because really, proper extension is a translation of the pelvis. Okay, you're going to get rotation backwards from the pelvis in this examination right here, but you have to get a translation, which means you have to have a space in the front. So many people overly compress here because they don't have optimum tension here. So for those of you that do true wheel, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's not one spoke's fault. You have to balance the matrix. This is a great way of assessing it. So once again, if you're on your left, toe touch right, you're extending backwards, and then you can go to your AD, AEB, internal and external. So what we call that is we call that an excursion test. In addition to that, I always urge practitioners to do this assessment. It's quick, it's easy. If I was at the state fair with you and I had 10 minutes to assess you, and you got back problems, you have knee problems, I'd pretty much use this one. Why? Because gravity is predictably pulling us down to the earth. We have reaction, mass, and momentum. And the more efficient you are with that, the healthier you are. Ready? You're on your right side, toe touch, which is a 9. Lift your side up real quick so you're a 10 on the right. Give me an initial range, give me a mid-range, and then give me an end range. Okay, get free to practice. Then go ahead, toe touch, lift up again, same right side. Initial range, mid-range, and then end range. Give me that spring. I want to see if that hip complex is a Super Bowl or not. Immediately switch sides, toe touch with your right. When you feel comfortable, lift your right side up, give me initial range, mid-range, and then end range. Get free to practice, and then go for it. Initial range, mid-range, and end range. If you felt one side was very different than the other, please don't forget this. It's not a matter of if you'll have an injury, it's a matter of when. And that's not Lennyism. You might call bullshit on me right now, but hopefully you don't find out in 5 years. And I say this very powerfully because, true or false, we say we're going to do a massive jump program right now, and all of you have good leg length. And I say we're all going to do it with one sneaker on. What would you say to me? Probably not a good idea. You probably wouldn't even do it, would you? Because you know, you're smart enough to know this is a complex consolidation of segments. And if all of a sudden, one side is different than the other, we know that there's going to be rotatory biasing through the system because gravity is vertical. So it's not a matter of if you're going to have a problem, it's a matter of when. And so when one leg is a tomato versus a Super Bowl, it's not a matter of if there's going to be a problem, it's a matter of when. Don't wait for the victim to scream. Find the criminals first. Squelch them. So I have a couple minutes left. What I want to share with you guys is this. I'm going to get into some structures. Okay, we can't practice them, so I asked Chris and the Perform Better team if I could do them and you want to videotape them. If you want to go to my YouTube channel, I don't want this to sound conceited at all. These are very unique mobilizations because selfishly, the best way you learn is on your own body. And I was a pathological wreck most of my life, and it pissed me off. So it drove me, though, to study a lot, and I searched. I hired practitioners all over the world. So I'm going to share with you some mobilizations that are very unique. Please ask questions if you want. And would you mind bringing that up?